but he does not have access into your mind. He does not have access into your heart. But he is a spiritual being. And so you hear him sometimes, or his compadres. Probably not one of us is considered so important to the enemy's tactics in this world that Satan himself has ever bothered with you or me. He sends his underlings. But, they're an enemy to be reckoned with. You don't reckon with the enemy by ignoring them, do you? No. You know their tactics. That's what Paul says. We're not ignorant of his devices. We know. And one of the things that he will do is exactly what he does to Nehemiah here. He says, come on out to a neutral place. The plain of Ono was kind of on the edge of the area that the repatriated Jews came to when they came back from Babylon. Right on the edge of things. Say, hey, why don't you come on out and let's talk together? It's a neutral place. Just come on out here. Just come on out here with me. Just come on out here with me. But God gives Nehemiah the discerning of spirits to see that this is meant for his harm. There will be times in your life when people will speak to you and say, hey, let's do this. Hey, why don't you come on over here? I'm not telling you to do something bad. Just come on out. We'll hang out here. But the enemy seeks your harm through that. And you know that feeling that you get? You know that little voice or that gut feeling or however the Lord does it with you. You just kind of feel like, boy, I don't feel comfortable about this. There's something about this. It's not that this person is, an agent of the devil. Maybe they are, but not necessarily. But the enemy is seeking to use this situation for your harm. Hey, there's nothing wrong in walking into a bar. There's nothing wrong with going to this place. There's no wrong hanging out there. And then you get there and you find out that just like Nehemiah would if he had gone, that you now are in the plane of, oh no, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? I didn't think that this was going to lead me here. Oh no. It seemed so okay on the surface. It's neutral. But Nehemiah knew. He followed that gut. He followed the Spirit of God speaking to him. And you notice what he said? Hey, what I'm doing in rebuilding the city of Jerusalem, it's more important than me coming out to the plain and finding myself saying, oh no. And the building of your Christian life, following the direction of the master builder, Jesus, it is by far more important than anything you could come up with that is, quote unquote, neutral. Talk to a lot of people who say, hey, did you see that movie? Hey, did you read this book? Hey, have you seen this television show? Hey, have you seen that? And they might not be bad things in and of themselves. And 9 times out of 10, I say, no. Because God has, by His direction and His grace, put me in such a busy lifestyle that I just don't have time for that for the most part. And I thank Him for that. Because I'm afraid that if I had more time, I might find myself wasting that time in the things that aren't important. You know what? There are a lot of things we spend time with in our lives that in eternity's perspective, who cares? The Lord's not going to look at you when you get there and go, I know you're one of mine, you're coming in, that's great, but what were you thinking with that hair? Come on. And The clothes that you wore, what were you thinking? I gave you enough money to go to a nice place to buy clothes. Why didn't you ever see this movie or that? You see what I'm saying? That's absurd, and yet we live our lives so often focusing on the things that aren't really all that important in eternity. They're not. And we get wrapped up in them, and the enemy loves that, and adds some little sensual excitement to it. Not necessarily sexual, sensual. Hey, this is really important. Hey, those people are treating us wrong. Hey, this, hey, that, and get all excited about it. And all of a sudden you find yourself spending all this time doing something that the Lord's going to go, why did you bother with that? I was looking for you to be building your life into a strong city so that you could participate in the rebuilding of other people's lives. The enemy wants to divert us. He wants to get us out into that plane of, oh no. The problem is so often we spend so much time before we finally get to the oh no. Oh no. What have I done here? Oh no. How did I end up here? How much time have I wasted? Verse 5. Then Sanballat sent his servant to me as before, the fifth time, with an open or unsealed letter in his hand. And in it was written, it's reported among the nations, and Geshem says that you and the Jews plan to rebel. Therefore, according to these rumors, you are rebuilding the wall, that you may be their king. And you have also appointed prophets to proclaim concerning you at Jerusalem, saying, there is a king in Judah. Now these matters will be reported to the king, meaning the king in Persia. So come, therefore, and let's consult together. And then I sent him saying, no such things as you say are being done, but you invent them in your own heart. For they were all trying to make us afraid, saying, their hands will be weakened in the work, and it will not be done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. The second tactic of the enemy that we see here, the enemy of Nehemiah, was lies. Was lies. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but were lies. Was a lie. I'm okay there? Okay, I think we got a 50-50 here. I've got a thumbs up over here and a thumbs down over there. Bottom line is he was lying. The enemy was lying in order to instill fear and discouragement. False accusations to incite fear and discouragement. Now, there are a couple of interesting things to consider here. Did you notice that the letter, it says, was open or unsealed? They didn't have envelopes in those days. They didn't have paper in those days. They wrote on vellum or parchment and rolled it up and tie a string around it. And then they would put some wax on it and seal it. That was like, licking the envelope and sending it on. It's sealed now. This was unsealed. It was open. What's the significance of that? Everybody could read it on the way getting there. Whoa. Do you hear what Nehemiah is doing? Man, that guy Sanballat's saying this is what he's doing. Everyone could read this and hear it and understand what was written there. And the second thing to consider is historically the Persian kings, they had absolutely no patience, no grace whatsoever for a usurper. Oh, somebody said you're trying to usurp and declare yourself king? Great, you're dead. And your children and, a couple hundred people around you, just in case we miss somebody. I mean, that's how brutal they were.